We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.
Hello there. Thank you for tuning in to Able Differently, a program where we take charge. My name is C.G. Moses, and on today's episode, we'll be focusing on the stories of Clifford, Lynne, and Edwin, who've had low moments in life but have bounced back to rewrite their own future. Stay tuned.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
You've probably met someone with patches on the skin and ruled out that they were caused by a burn. Well, that may not always be the case. It could be vitiligo, a condition that is not so widely talked about. Clifford has vitiligo, and he tells his story.
Vitiligo is a condition in which pigment is lost from areas of the skin, causing whitish patches, often with no clear cause. To understand better, we speak to a young man living with the condition.
I am Andrew Clifford Okal, aged 26 years old. I'm a teacher by profession. I teach history and theory, specifically at Moi Girls, Kapsoar, in Elgeyo Marakwet. I'm the only child and an orphan who was brought up and educated by my grandparents. So that's briefly about me. I'm a proud man living with vitiligo, which began in 2010 when I was in Form 2. That is it. So I had to accept the vitiligo itself because I sat down and saw my grandparents were really using a lot of resources. Some were just after the money. Also, the vitiligo itself was just spreading, so I was like, let me finish school, then we'll see on the treatment first.
Individuals living with the condition are stigmatized and unfairly judged by the society.
Apart from schools, you'll also go to some places, like public places. We have, like, you'll go for job interviews, applications. You'll meet children. You will go to people's houses. I have friends. You'll go to people's houses. So mostly the children, you'll meet some children. Okay, I always have a connection with children. Many will come and will joke and etc. But some will cry. Some will just run away literally and hide. If you are passing someone, children are playing, they will just stand there, look at you and like, hey. Yeah, and no children don't know. They just say, hey, una huyu mtu anafanana aje? So I answer the number, yes, I'm black and white American. Yeah. So and even the small girls only the small girls will come and tell you, Salimie, Sasa. But the boys will shy away. They will just be there discussing. Yeah. So about interviews, you'll go to like public places and people will be like, hey, who is this man? And why is he like this? So there are those who will receive you. You will just see from their facial expressions and actions. Some will just embrace you and attend to you, but some will resist. So you find a secretary like she's talking to you, or he's talking and he's not attentive, or she's not attentive, or she's not even concerned. She's attending to you like you came to just waste his or her time there. Yeah. So also you'll be working in markets, towns. Let me say Nairobi people don't care much. They will just look at you. Some will have already seen such. But we'll go to the villages, like where I come from, Oyugi, Somabe, or we go to Kisii, or walking Eldoret town, or somewhere else. People will be just standing there looking at you. This totally unique man. They'll come with assumptions. He was banned. It's a curse. It's a disease. Yeah. So that's now at that point, some will say it spreads through physical contact. So some will not want to greet you. Some will tell you like it's painful. He's feeling pain where he's walking. He's feeling pain he cannot admit. And I know myself, so I'll just let them see. At least they have known that someone like me exists. Next time when I come back, they will acknowledge you.
Despite the challenges, Okal is happy that not all are against him, as there are those that offer support in whatever way they can.
I remember at the assembly, because I came in when they were in church on a Sunday. So on Monday, we have the introduction at the assembly. So everyone is just like, this tall, unique man, who is he? So I go and I'm like, I'm Andrew Clifford. They are, wow. So after assembly, everyone is now on you. These are now the girls. You know, the boys were assuming, the girls now want to know. They want to know everything. So they're like, greet me, let us touch your hands. What happened? So as you explain, I just told them we'll get a platform and I'll tell you everything. Because you cannot go around telling each and everyone this. Yeah, so when I came, I explained to them everything. And they're like, wow, there's nothing wrong with this teacher. So they just came to accept me like that with my uniqueness. Because yes, I'm unique, I've accepted myself, and I'm doing my best to help them. So when in the class, they're just attentive, they're okay. They see you as normal. In fact, they even concentrate much on you than another person, because it's like motivating them. Yeah. So that this teacher, because I told the vitiligo, yes, I have it, and I also have advantages. So I was showing them like my disability card, which I had taken. So I'm telling them, like, a person like me, I only retired at the age of 65. A person like me, I don't pay tax. A person like me, I can import freely. I don't pay any tax at the ports and etc. And they're like, wow, that's amazing.
Although there are some differences between albinism and vitiligo, persons with vitiligo also need sunscreen.
Albinism, I don't know what I can say about albinism, but theirs is different from vitiligo. Vitiligo, if you look at my skin, it's just like I'm a European. Let me say I'm a white man. Yeah, nothing. But you'll see on those of the albinism, the skin is always different, and they always have some pains. The sunscreen is to prevent like sun from encroaching to their skin because it will hurt. They also use caps, and it also interferes with the eyesight of some. But with vitiligo, it identifies some places, like you can see my hands, my face, and maybe my legs here. But for albinism, it might be the whole body. Yeah. So a person like me, you might advise me to use sunscreen, but it cannot help. Yeah, because I'm not affected by sun. Apart from the specs that I wear, that one is just to prevent tears from coming out of my eyes when I'm hit by sunlight. But there is nothing like itching, or there is nothing. I'm just okay.
The precise cause of vitiligo is unknown, but those with the disorder seem to have a genetic tendency towards developing it. But Okal says his is not genetic.
The whole lineage, if I look at the whole lineage from my great-great-grandparents, there is none who has ever suffered from this disease. And it's true. People will tell you it's genetic. You can inherit it. Yeah. So maybe let me say it began with me. Yeah. So you might find people tell you your children might have it, or even your grandchildren, or the children to your grandchildren.
Embracing and accepting yourself is what Clifford Okal advises those with vitiligo and those who are abled differently.
To the parents whose children are also suffering from the same, I always feel happy when I see some parents just socializing with their children, more so with the albinism. You'll meet them just with their children proud, taking pictures, the children are happy. That's good. But you'll find some parents, just like you've asked, they lock their children up. Now, vitiligo is not a curse, and it should not be treated as so. Vitiligo is beautiful, like they say. It's beautiful for a person who might see it, and it's beautiful for the person who has it. Like me, it's beautiful for me. Why? As yes, I have vitiligo, but it has also given me some opportunities and platforms. Let your child be exposed in the society. you never know which opportunity will knock on your door via that child. Yeah, you will never know which opportunity will knock on your door via that child. So you will be locking blessings and you don't know. Yeah, so don't. Let them explore what they want. In fact, the moment they socialize with people, they will face stigmatization and etc. Yes, but as they grow, they will come to accept and live with the society. But the moment you lock them up and they grow and you want them now to face the world, that's why you now find suicide coming in. They reject themselves or they just hate people naturally.
Cause we're differently abled, differently.
At the age of 4, Lynne was involved in an accident that later on caused the loss of her arm. Here is her story.
Lynne, who is the third born in a family of 5, became a candidate to disability at a young age, and as she narrates, life has never been the same again.
Nilikuwa mdogo, wenzangu walikuwa wanaruka barabara huko Ushago. Mimi nikiruka barabara gari kapita na mimi. Kapelekwa hospitali nikiwa mdogo. Katoka hospitali. Mimi siwezi jua nini iliendelea hapo, hiyo ni nyingine nikiwa hospitali. Mimi nilikuwa napiga tu story. Nilikuja nikakuwa inakoma. Nikakaa inakoma karibu mwezi na kama sijisikii. Kaambiwa venye nilipona nilikuwa nalishwanga hivi, nilikuwa nashikiliwanga hivi, huku kote kulikuwa kumepasuka. Nilikuwa nalishwa chakula hivi na teremuka. Kaguro huko nitoka hospitali, tukakaa na shosho yangu na mamangu huyo. Tukaangalia akatochanga na shosho, tukakanga na shosho. Shaka nifundishanga hizo vitu ndogo ndogo, kuoga, kwenda kwa baba, kufanya kila kitu, hata kubeba maji kwa kichwa. Kitu yote mimi najua, hadi kupika, naweza pika ugali sisi venye tuko hivi kwa nyumba tukule na tushibe.
Alikuwa alizaliwa 1980. Sasa harakati hiyo 1980 kwa miaka 5, alikuwa ana miaka 5 hapo ndio alipata accident. Mimi nilikuwa nimesafiri, kuna mahali nilikuwa nimeenda kwa Kakamega, nimeachia mama na alikuwa mtoto mdogo kama ule, alikuwa anaongea nataka kuwa pilot. Nikawasema mkaa hapa na nyanya, mimi naenda, sijui kama nitarudi kesho ama nitarudi saa hiyo nimeenda. Wakati nimeingia tu hivi, hata sijakunywa chai, mtu amefika. Unaitwa Lynne amegongwa na basi. Na hiyo basi wakati ilikuwa inaitwa Kirenga. Imani yangu iliisha. Nilipoteza. Yaani nilipotea, imani yangu ilipotea kwa sababu huyu mtoto wangu nilikuwa nampenda. Alikuwa mtoto mtulivu, mwenye furaha. Yaani mtoto ukitoka tu ana smile tu mwenyewe. Lakini yote niliwachia Mungu.
Kuhusu hali yake, for real haijakuwa rahisi. Amekuwa akistruggle na life na imekuwa ngumu kwake. Mpaka kwa mama yetu. Ni venye tu mama ameelezea for long hatujamuona. Kwa saa hizi ndio tumeshtukia amekuja. Na mimi nikamwambia hakuna haja ya kuhangaika tena na dunia. Afadhali tukae na mama. Chenye tutapata tutakula. Usaidizi tutasaidiana.
As circumstances would have it, she now had to resort to using one arm in carrying out activities. The ordeal affected her school life and career as well, but Lynne chose to forge on strongly.
Pero kwa shule, pero kwa nursery. Kwa shule nyingine hapo ilikuwa Sango Primary School huko Ujombani kwangu. Nikatoka hapo nursery nikaenda class 1. Katoka hapo mama katolea hiyo shule. Katupeleka shule nyingine inaitwa Emako Primary School. Sasa wenzangu kwenda shule, wenzangu walikuwa wananichekelea, mara huyo kwa na mkono mmoja. Wenzangu wanataka kuniapa wataka kukaa na mimi. Mimi sikufa roho. Nikakuja nikafika mahali yenyewe nikakasirika. Mimi nikachukua vitabu zangu na uniform zote nikatupa. Sikuendelea kusoma tena.
Imekuwa so hurting juu watu wengi. Yaani ni kama sijui ni kama wameona nini. Wakiona mtu kama yeye. Juu wanashangaa nafua aje. Anaweza pika aje. Anakuwa akistruggle. Mpaka most of the time nikikaa naye namuuliza amekuwa akiishi aje kwa life yake. Anaambia pali hata alikuwa anaishi mwenyewe. Alikuwa anapata challenge. Juu anaishi na marafiki wanamtumia. Yeye na mkono wake vile mnamuona ndo ajisacrifice. Aenda afulie watu, alete pesa, walipie nyumba. Asipofanya hivyo wanamfukuza.
Her greatest motivation, she says, is derived from her capability in working hard to achieve her goals.
Mimi nasikia tu rave, chukua ngatu venye wenzangu walikuwa wananidharau venye nilikuwa mdogo. Nikaona siwezi fika maisha kama saizi mwenyewe najiwezea kitu yangu. Si ati naomba mtu, nikitaka kubai hata nguo tena naenda kuomba, ati nipe pesa nene nikabai nguo. Sionangi kitu kama sasa. Mimi nishachukua maisha kama niko free. Hata mama anaweza niambia nisivai hii top hivi. Mimi lakini penye ninakaanga huko napata nimevaa sleeveless, mimi natembea tu juu mimi ninachukua tu sasa hivi niko kama watu wengine, sidharau. Chukuanga manguo, nachukuanga maji, naweka kwa besheni, kama iko na omo naweka kwa besheni. So na venye tunaonanga kwa TV hizi aerial tunafanya hivi. Nachukua top za white kana nguo za white nafua kana, nachoweka kwa hiyo sub maji. Na soak kidogo na kidogo, nachukua sabuni ya kipande, nachukuanga nguo naweka hapa kwa hii mguu. Hii inashika alafu inasugua. Alafu kama ni vyombo nachukua kikombe naekelea hapa, alafu hii inashika sponge na nasugua ndani, naosha ndani. Sufuria nayo nachukuanga na kanyaga na hii kidole, alafu nasugua inang'ara, alafu na mpaka ndani huku juu nasugua. Hata mama anaweza kuonyesha sufuria yenyewe namsugulia ngapo amininka, mimi ndo nasugua sufuria.
Disability is no reason to deny persons living with it their rights, but rather we should all fight for an inclusive society. Her sister, Zera, says that more still needs to be done for persons with disabilities.
Naweza waambia tu pale mko, watu wenye wako na upungufu pale yote wanapata tabu. Yes, mnaweza kuwa mnatoa usaidizi knowing that inafikia wale watu. Lakini kusema ukweli, hata nyinyi wenyewe tu mkitoka huko nyinyi wenyewe mkuje muangalia, si wenye wanapata usaidizi. Wenye wanakula na watu na mwili yao wazima, wanaweza fanya kazi wakapata pesa, lakini wale wenye wako na upungufu ndo wanaumia, hawapati kitu yoyote. Kama my sister hajaipata haki mpaka leo, kutoka amekanyago hiyo mwaka yote mpaka leo hakuna mtu alimpigania. Mamangu akashinda mtu wa kumsaidia, ikabaki tumeachia Mwenyezi Mungu, of which tume accept. Tutafanya nini? Na hii Kenya saizi ukitaka hata kesi yako ifuatiliwe lazima utoe pesa. Mamangu hana pesa, asipofua nguo za mtu hakuli, nisipomsaidia hata mimi nilete kitu hakuli. Hatuna mtu wa kutusaidia, hakuna kabisa. Tunaishi tu maisha patapotea. Hivyo ndo tuko hapa Kibira. Unaona mpaka lead tu hata saizi nimeolewa, niko na watoto 3, najisacrifice. Chenye niko nayo namletea na maisha inaendelea.
Nawaambia hivi, wasijifiche na wasifanye kitu yoyote. Wajitokeze nje wafanye vitu venye wenzao wanafanya. Ukijificha wewe mwenyewe ndio unaumia, lakini jitolee. Ukiwa na nini, ukiona mwenzako akifanya kitu venye mimi, hata mtu akinipata hapa nikimlemavu, akinisimama kuniangalia, na mwambie usijali. Hii ndio ya mtu, kila mtu. Endelea kila kitu, fanya kitu yoyote, Mungu atakufungulia mbele.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
We take a short break, we'll be right back.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. Edwin Opetu was diagnosed with the paralysis of the lower limb. He says that the support he gets from his dad is what has kept him going. Take a look.
Edwin Opetu, the third born in a family of 7, was born in Butula village in Busia County.
I'm Edwin Opetu Boyo. I was born in 1992 in Busia County in a village called Butula. By then it was a division. Now it's a district. So I'm third born in a family of 7. At the moment I'm single parent child after the dismiss of my mom in 2010 when I was in Form 4.
He attended Sikarora Primary School and later came to Nairobi, where he joined Eastleigh Educational Center in 2010 and attained a C- grade, but could not proceed to college level because the parents could not afford the fee.
I went in Sikarora Primary School, Sikarora Primary in my home county. Then after completion of Standard 8, I moved to Nairobi in Eastleigh, where I did my Form 4 in the year 2010 and gain a C minus of 35 points.
Around May 2012, he started feeling unwell in the left side of the chest and decided to visit a medical center in Maldari, but the doctors did not recognize the problem. He was then referred to Kenyatta National Hospital, where he discovered he was suffering from paralysis of the lower limb.
My condition is paralysis of the lower limbs due to schwannoma syndrome as a result of cord compression. In the year 2012, around May, I started experiencing some coldness and some dryness in the left side of my chest. So I decided to go for over-the-counter medicines to relieve me from the pain. But it's a situation that gradually grew, and so I had to seek for another attention from physicians. So it was from there that my states worsened, and the doctor who was examining me never recognized what was the problem. So she decided to refer me to Kenyatta National Hospital. That was in October 2012.
He has gotten a lot of support from his father, who helps him do most of the things he needs to be done, moving from one place to another.
When my dad came to visit me, and I shared with him, and due to the financial constraints he was in by then, it was a mountainous climb for him, and so he tried to sort out from friends, relatives, but it took time, and he never raised the money. I think he raised something like 11,000 out of 16. So he was to talk with the administrative so that I may go for MRI.
He goes through a lot of obstacles in his life, like not being able to move by himself, as well as not being able to pay rent for many months.
Sometimes I may feel that maybe I need to go out, or I want to sit out up to maybe late hours. Maybe my dad want to go to the work, so he has to leave me inside the house. So that inconvenience is there. Second, you find that some people are not willing to come close to you. Some see you as a curse. So you end up feeling some loneliness, and you may end up even depressed.
Despite the many challenges he faces, the kind of support he receives from the father keeps him going and gives him the desire to live more years, given his state and even with the level of poverty that has completely affected his lifestyle.
My biggest motivator is my dad. And I must admit that I have a good dad, and he has been always there for me, and sometimes he has got himself in wrangles. Even he has lost job twice because of me, and that's something that generates much accepted by my dad, because many people cannot endure what my dad has endured because of me.
His advice to the people living with disabilities is to always pray and believe in God.
To my fellow comrades and living in such angle of life, just look unto God, because in every desert of calamities, God has an oasis of comfort. And the Bible reminds us that in that bed of affliction, God always watches over you. And it's high time that we people, we should always look unto God. Let's not rely ourselves to human help, because it does vanish out. But God's help and God's word is always there till the end of this world.
Opetu thinks that the government has a lot to do for the people living with disabilities and requests that the government should come to mashinani and try to help them so that they can also get means of living a better life.
As a disabled person, I know in the dispensation of the constitution we are living, we are having at the moment, it allows employment for disabled people. My urge or my request to the president should be that president should come to the mashinani and meet disabled people. We have so many people who are very disabled, who may need some opportunity in their life.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Now let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability.
Article 6 of the UN Convention states that state parties recognize that women and girls with disabilities are subject to multiple discrimination, and in this regard shall take measures to ensure the full and equal enjoyment by them of all human rights and fundamental freedoms.
On today's etiquette, we urge everyone to look out for signs that show spaces reserved for persons with disabilities. These include car parks, seats, washrooms, and ramps. Resources set aside for persons with disabilities are scarce, and taking up their spaces causes a lot of inconvenience. We've come to the end of today's show. Until next time, I've been your host, CG Moses. Bye-bye.